There are a couple guarantees in life, and that's death, taxes, and your energy bills always going up. And if you live in an expensive state like California, Hawaii, or New York, well, solar will only pay itself back faster. Now, more and more, we're seeing blackouts, brownouts, fires, storms, and honestly, the grid can't keep up. And that's exactly why I started slowly going off grid here in the city. It's possible, and it's actually easier than you think. So I'm going to show you how I'm slowly going off grid and also have emergency backup power when it's needed. And I'll show you some of the ways that I do this. Now, don't get me wrong, I will still use a gas generator if I need to, but I get it, some people don't like them because they smell, they are loud, and not to mention gas prices going up just don't help. But it is a solid piece of emergency equipment that you really should have. But here's also the thing. These honestly don't really pay you back. On the other hand, a small battery bank or a small power station is something that can eventually pay itself back over time. You can use them for blackouts, but you can also use them for daily energy needs, and that's where the magic happens. Because you're not just buying something for emergency power backup, but you're creating your own microgrid. Now, when I first started off years ago, it literally looked something like this. It was just an old used battery. It had a solar controller on it, and then on the other side, I only had a little inverter. This whole setup only cost around $150 back then, and you can still build something like this. It only takes a little bit of wiring, and there's not much DIY involved. If wiring really isn't your thing, you can get plug-and-play power stations now just about everywhere. These are becoming more affordable, they're also portable, and with more and more companies bringing these out, the competition is driving the prices down a lot. And these are super simple to use. You can simply plug in some solar, it'll start charging the power station, turn on the AC inverter, and then this basically allows you to now start running loads like maybe a refrigerator, charging laptops and more. So they've really taken the DIY and put all of this basically just into something like this that is much more user-friendly. Now, when I got more serious, I did step it up into something larger from those smaller power stations and got something like this, which this is an EG4 12000 XP inverter. I ended up buying a couple batteries as well, and then I ended up mounting some solar on my roof, which this is actually an off-grid setup. It is completely different from the on-grid setup that I have back here. This is actually a grid tie system, which there are benefits and also some cons when it comes to a grid tie system, depending on how you have that, which that's really another video. Now, I've been using this system now for several months and it has been working great, but I have also and still continue to use EcoFlow's Delta Pro Ultra. This is by far the easiest system out there to date, and almost anybody can activate this thing and plug it in because it just stacks together. So if you're super new and want to keep things simple and kind of a plug and play versus doing a little bit of wiring, this is much cheaper, but the other one is a lot easier. But the real game changer has actually been adding this. This is where you can really save some money and also have easy emergency backup power. Adding a transfer switch such as this ProTrans 2, this allows you to take grid power and switch it over to basically your battery or either your generator power. But with this, you can do more because you can load shed, and that's where the money saving comes in. It basically means that I can take circuits from my house and then assign them to each switch. And all I have to do is flip this switch, basically going from grid power to either my battery backup power or even that small little power station. Remember that microgrid that we built earlier? This is essentially the same thing as that up there. It's really just all the same, just smaller. Now, this transfer switch is rated for 50 amps, which is 12,000 watts. That's a lot of power, which mainly takes care of most of your daily needs. I have my refrigerator. I also have my car, which this is where I plug in the hybrid. It charges that with excess solar. I have my living room. I also have the garage, not to mention all the extra solar or energy that I capture. I can put into the batteries and then save it for later, or again, have it for emergency backup use. So now a majority of my house is mainly running off of this for all of my everyday needs. And so now I am technically using the grid power as my emergency power. And if they happen to be out, because if this fails, that basically gives you the 2 is 1 and 1 is none type scenario, gives me grid as backup power, or if they happen to be down as well, well then I always can go back to a gas generator just in case. Now there is one thing to know about this, is that this does do 120 and 240 volt. meaning I can just plug in 120 volts into this right here and I can run 6 of the circuits, because if you look right here, you have a 2 and a 1. This means you're going to have all the number 1s on one leg. All of these number 2s, those are going to be on another leg. Hence this up here, meter number 1 for one side and meter number 2 for the other side. So even that little power station I showed you earlier can power your home through this. Now, of course, that's only a certain amount of loads of whatever that power station is rated for. But this is how you start, is something like this is not that expensive. And this allows you to slowly scale up until you can eventually start getting into things like this, which I get it, there is a little bit of cost, but this is how you get started. And you can buy these online, you can buy them at the store. I'll leave some information below. But again, having one of these is just something you should have anyway for emergency backup. That way you can at least plug in your power station right here, and it makes it real easy with not having to go outside and fire up a generator. Now I get it, maybe you don't want to install solar panels on your roof, and that's okay. You can simply just lay them on the ground. You can put them on a shed. You can build a solar fence like I did. You can even put these on a trailer or even your RV trailer. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you install something. That way you can take advantage of the energy that's provided to us every day. Now sure, there is an expense to all of this stuff, and you're not going to get rich on this overnight. And again, your payback is going to be at least 2 years, maybe 5 years, depending on how much you really get into this and how much you spend. But your payback is going to be quicker because, again, prices of energy is only going up. So that only speeds up your payoff. And unlike that daily Starbucks habit, I've never seen that pay for itself. It's still good, but it's not $6 a day good. So can you start slowly going off-grid in the city besides maybe sewer and water? But yes, you can. You can start small, you can scale up, and you can begin your journey to that energy independence. Make sure to check the links down below for the information we talked about today, and let me know what kind of system you're looking at building or maybe already in the process of building. Hope you liked the video. Hope to see you in another one.